Thank you, Bryan. Good morning, everyone. As he mentioned, I'm Tracy Mehan, and Nationwide Children's Hospital is pleased to join Ohio PIRG again this year as they announce their annual toy safety report. And I appreciate the opportunity today to be here to talk about preventing injuries to children during this holiday season. If you think about it, few things make children happier than a new toy or a new game. And we encourage children to play because it fosters creativity, it builds emotional and physical strength. And when toy manufacturers design and package a toy, and when a parent purchases that toy and wraps it up as a gift, they're thinking about how excited the child is going to be when they open that toy. Unfortunately, here at the hospital, we often look at toys a little bit differently. We've had to treat too many children with severe, life-altering injuries. And while Bryan talked about some of the new toys that are on the market, today I'd actually like to look at some of the ones that are already on the market that we know continue to be dangerous to children. As Bryan mentioned, choking is a leading cause of toy-related injuries. We often see young children in our emergency department after choking on a small toy. If the child is lucky, the small toy will have been sucked into a lung and we'll be able to remove it. If the child is unlucky and the small toy completely blocks off the upper airway, even for a few minutes, brain damage or death will occur. Toys that pose serious choking hazards to children share certain size, shape, and consistency characteristics. Take this small ball for an example. Looks very similar to a chewing ball gum that they might have, but it's a little red ball. If you look at this ball and you put the top engineers in the world in a room and ask them to design the perfect choking hazard that will block a child's airway, they couldn't come up much better than this. It's the perfect size and shape. It compresses and it can lodge itself completely inside their throat, making it impossible to remove, even with proper medical equipment. Balloons are another product with deadly characteristics. You don't think that this is something that can be dangerous, but it is actually the leading cause of choking deaths in children more than any other product. Young children, as Bryan mentioned, have a tendency to put things near their mouth. If this is an uninflated balloon, or if the balloon is inflated and breaks while it's near the child's mouth, and they take a sudden gasp of air, it gets sucked into their throat and can drape over the entrance to the voice box. As the child tries to breathe, it acts like shrink wrap, conforming to and completely blocking the airway. Even with proper medical equipment, this balloon is almost impossible to remove before irreparable brain damage or death occurs. To prevent these injuries, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that balloons not be used if children younger than 8 will be present. As Bryan also mentioned, magnets are another type of product that can cause injuries when swallowed. There have been many stories in the news about the small but powerful rare earth magnets, like those sold by buckyballs. Unfortunately, these types of toys are still available. This is an example of a toy that was recalled and is no longer available in stores. Unfortunately, you can still get them on sites like eBay or at garage sales. These are simple little magnets. You put them together and you can build structures. Unfortunately, these toys have magnets on the end that come out. So as you can see, I have two of the end magnets that have come out. And you can see how hard they are. This magnet, if even one comes out and is swallowed by a child, this ball is not magnetic. If swallowed, the attraction force of this magnet is so strong, it will actually tear holes through organs to come together and find each other in the child's body. This one magnet can lift up. You can see how strong it is. So if you think about that, if this one little magnet, you can see how strong it is, I can't even get a hold of it, is in your child, it's going to tear through organs to find each other. We don't want this happening. The other problem with these is that while this is marketed for older children, what we're starting to see is that teens are using these as simulating piercings. So they'll put it on either side of their mouth so it looks like a piercing. If this is accidentally swallowed, even by a teen, the same thing will happen. And it is happening in larger and larger numbers. Please, if you have young children or even teens in your house, rethink purchasing these as toys. The final product I'd like to mention today is not a toy in its own right, but it's something that is certainly a hazard and that will be around during the holiday season. Many of the gifts and cards we give require batteries to operate. And while some use the larger batteries, these smaller button batteries are now prevalent in many of our cards, in our keys, in our remote controls, and they are becoming more and more prevalent. The problem is they are also becoming stronger. In the past 20 years, the strength of these button batteries has more than doubled. And if, like the magnet, if this battery gets swallowed, it can be very dangerous. Because of the size, it can actually get lodged in your esophagus, and it can burn a hole in your esophagus in less than 2 hours, causing serious injury or even death. Unfortunately, when a child swallows these, the parent isn't always there to see it, and the child won't say, I swallowed a button battery. So if you don't catch it, in less than 2 hours, it can burn a hole in the child's esophagus. During the holidays, it's important for families to be aware of the potential that all of these products pose, and not just in your own home, but when you're visiting friends and family. It may be difficult if you're at a party or visiting with relatives to watch your child every moment, so be aware that these products are in other people's homes as well as your own. If your child gets a gift that is powered by a button battery, make sure the compartment can't be easily accessed. All of these scenarios underscore the importance for primary prevention, that is, preventing the injury event from occurring in the first place. One way we do this is by letting parents know about recalled and potentially dangerous toys like we're doing here today. What seems to be harmless fun can result in serious injury. We'd like to note that although most toys on the market are safe, thousands of children suffer toy-related injuries every year. And while some of these may be minor, some are severe or even fatal. We've shared a few of these potential hazards with you today, but there are many others, as Bryan mentioned. I urge you to look at the resources in the Trouble in Toyland report released by PIRG. We also have resources on our hospital website, nationwidechildrens.org, and always look at www.recall.gov to make sure that your toy has not been recalled. This is the Consumer Product Safety Commission's website, and they keep it up to date. Choosing toys carefully, following the minimum age recommendations on toy packages, and supervising your child will help assure that playtime is educational, fun, and most importantly, safe.